The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers, start your engines. Pull those belts down tight one more time, warm up those tires, hit your marks, and let's go racing, boys and girls. Nascar, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, and NHRA Racing Talk. This is the Championship Racing Network. Now here is your host, Steve West and Matt Nicholson, with producer John Myers.
And indeed, the gang is all here. On behalf of producer John, Matt, who we'll be talking with here in just a moment, and myself, Steve West, hope you had a very happy Thanksgiving. We are back after a weekend off. Lots to get to, and I mean a lot to get to. This includes an in-depth look at the first week of testimony in the NASCAR lawsuit, them versus 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports. Let's just say week one didn't go well for NASCAR. Silly season in F1 and IndyCar, big time. The NHRA expanding again. Maybe into NASCAR territory? We'll talk about it. NHRA is asking for your help as they get to celebrate 75 years. The Formula E season kicks off this weekend, and the Formula One season wraps up this weekend. That's all really just the tip of the iceberg. We'll start digging into it all right after this.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network. Four tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Indeed, we are back. Illnesses and such like that just kind of messing with us here a little bit. Let's go ahead and ask Matt how he's doing. I know the last time we did this show, you were by phone. Feeling better?
Yeah, it's been a rough go for a few weeks, but
yeah,
I'm getting there.
I understand. Getting older, it sucks. Just gonna put it
That's
that way.
an understatement.
But like I said, from all of us to all of you, hope you had a very happy Thanksgiving weekend. If you do celebrate that, I know that we got some fans from all around the world. So, Thanksgiving being a very uniquely American holiday, we do appreciate you guys allowing us the weekend off. As we get into it, and what we did miss was the one race that happened last weekend, which was the second to last race of the Formula One season, Qatar Grand Prix. Max Verstappen continues his late season hot streak. He made the Drivers' Championship battle come down to the season finale this weekend, which we'll get into here a little bit more in a moment. McLaren admitted that a safety car period kind of threw off their pre-race strategy, and when you combine that with the 25-lap limit that FIA set for the Pirelli tires, it all just kind of created a big mess for them, basically. McLaren's Oscar Piastri claimed the pole. His teammate Lando Norris was second at the start, so they locked out the front row, but Max Verstappen, starting third, got a great jump, got by Norris pretty much at the start. Shortly after, Pierre Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg got into each other, brought out a safety car period, and tossed strategy kind of out the window for a lot of them. Almost all the drivers came down during that safety car period for the first of two mandatory pit stops, but the McLaren duo stayed out. And yes, it gave them the lead at the beginning, but when they finally had to come in due to tire lap limits that were artificially set, they came back down in the order, and it caused them to have to work hard to reclaim the positions. And then you get into some controversy because we'll talk about this a little bit more in the news. Last lap mistake by Kimi Antonelli allowed Lando Norris to claim fourth. So your final top 10 puts Max Verstappen winning again. Oscar Piastri second, Carlos Sainz third, points leader Lando Norris fourth. A lot tighter up there at the top. Then Antonelli in fifth, followed by George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, Liam Lawson, and Yuki Tsunoda. More on him later. Lando Norris leads the points heading into the final race of the year. The gap, 12 points, 408 to 396 over Max Verstappen. Oscar Piastri still viable in there at 392. We'll talk about how three drivers alive for the championship going into the final race is something we haven't seen in quite some time. George Russell's in fourth pretty much all alone. He can't catch third, and fifth ain't going to catch him either. He's at 309. Fifth place is Charles Leclerc with 230. Lewis Hamilton and his replacement at Mercedes are battling for sixth at 152 and 150. When was the last time we thought about Lewis Hamilton being so far down in the batting order?
It's been quite a while.
I'm not sure we've ever talked about it in the history of us really covering Formula One on this show.
I can't recall it.
Not at all. Alex Albon is sitting in eighth. He's got 73 points. Ninth is Carlos Sainz with 64. The rookie Isaac Hadjar sits in 10th with 51. There's still some work in there as well because kind of 10th is up for grabs. Nico Hülkenberg's got 49. Fernando Alonso 48. Ollie Behrman's got 41. All of them have a chance to move into the top 10 into the season finale depending on what all happens. Constructors' Cup McLaren is your title winner in waiting. They're just waiting for them to officially get the trophy. They've got 800 points going into this weekend. Mercedes holds 459, 426 for Red Bull. So mathematically, yes, that could still change. Ferrari at 382. Yeah, mathematically, I guess they could move up into third. They can't get fourth. Or second, I'm sorry. I don't know. We'll see. Williams in fifth looks pretty solid there. They're at 137. Sixth through ninth, you got Racing Bulls at 92. Aston Martin at 90. Haas F1 at 73. 68 for Sauber. All of that area pretty much up for grabs. Then there's Alpine, who's locked into the basement with 22. I think the question would be, do they actually score a point this weekend? I think
I don't know.
Qualifying set to start during the show today. I think.
Let's see.
Get that checked here in just a moment while I let you know that the one race of the series that we cover this weekend is Formula E as they get their 12th season underway. It's going to be the Google Cloud Sao Paulo E-Prix. It's on a street course in the downtown area. 11 turns, measures about 1.82 miles long. If you want to watch it, I hope you got the Roku channel because otherwise CBS Sports Network technically has the rights here in the United States of America, but I can't find what day or what time they're actually planning on airing this. So good luck. Race in and of itself starts at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time, basically shortly after we get off the air this morning. And the F1 season comes down to the season finale. Etihad Airways Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, 16-turn, 3.1-mile long Yas Marina circuit. That'll be on ESPN tomorrow morning starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central Time.
They are running right now.
Qualifying? Okay. We'll keep you updated on that as we get into some news here. What we want to do is this. I'll go ahead and let you know this. There was some big news that came out of Formula One, obviously, and because it's their season finale, kind of want to lead off with them. And we're going to follow it up with Formula E since their season is beginning this morning. So we'll get those two series in, and figured go ahead and probably talk IndyCar, get all that in hour number one. Hour number two is going to be loaded, not only with NASCAR, but basically a whole lot of that trial talk. So if you've been kind of trying to figure that out, give us a bit. Let's deal with the series that are in action officially this weekend, and then we'll talk about that whole mess of a court case. And it is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go back to the controversy here real quick, and some of the notes from last weekend. Max's winning cutter was his 70th career win in Formula One competition, so he is starting to close in on Lewis Hamilton, who is your all-time leader, but not quite at 110. Some other notes from the race: 3 drivers eligible for the championship, marks the first time since the 2010 season that more than 2 drivers go into the finale with a chance to claim the title. I talked about it. Also marks Max Verstappen's 7th win of the year. This ties him with the McLaren pair. Both Piastri and Norris have 7 apiece. And don't forget this. According to F1 rules, the defending champion has the opportunity. They can elect to replace their career number, if you will, with the number 1 on the car for the next season, denoting that they're the defending champion, right? Verstappen has done this in place of his career number, which, by the way, is 33. He's done that in all of his title careers, or all of his title years. So you take that 70 wins that he's got and you break it down between the number 33 and the number 50, or number 33 and the number 1. He's actually got more wins using the number 1 than he does the number 33.
Mm-hmm.
50 wins using the number 1, 20 wins using the number 33.
Right. Yeah. That's wild.
It is. Also, want to talk about that controversy. And I use the term controversy very carefully because, honestly, I think this was manufactured, just to be real honest. A Red Bull official called the situation brainless, and it really ticked off Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff. This goes back to Kimi Antonelli's mistake that I referred to during the recap. According to Red Bull, Kimi Antonelli had intentionally moved over that allowed his fellow British countryman Lando Norris to get by him late in the race and allowed him to get a couple of more championship points, keeping him ahead by 12, as we noted in the recap, of Max Verstappen heading into the final race this weekend. McLaren, as we noted, admittedly came out and fumbled a strategy that tossed away a higher place finish for either Piastri or Norris, but in the end got 4th for Norris after that last lap mistake by Antonelli. Antonelli himself admitted he overdrove a corner late in the race, ran off the racing surface, and in slowing down to correct himself, Norris was able to pass. He got 4th, and that was worth 2 more championship points. So what would have been a 10-point gap became a 12-point gap. Now, you know, Formula One drivers are really good. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But let's face it, they're still human. They make mistakes.
I'm just going to say it this simple. There is no such thing as perfection in a race car. No.
All right, I like that. That'll work.
No such thing as perfection in a race car.
Okay. So, you know, and I went back. I didn't watch it live. I went back and I watched it in replay. And what it looked like is that Kimi Antonelli is noticing Lando Norris is really hot on his tail, and he might have looked a little bit too long in the mirror before realizing, oh my gosh, I've got a turn coming up, and overdrove it.
Hesitations like that do happen.
And remember, Kimi Antonelli's a rookie.
Yeah. Those mistakes do happen.
Yeah.
Of over anticipation.
So again, Verstappen wins the race, but again, Red Bull couldn't help making a jab at Mercedes. Verstappen's race engineer, Gianpiero Lambiase, I think I got that right, claiming possible shenanigans Quote, I'm not sure what happened to Antonelli there. It looked like he just pulled over and let Lando through. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Helmet Marco piled on said that it was so obvious that Antonelli moved over for Norris. Helmet, just shut up.
Oh, yes, there's Helmet again.
I know. You just, go back into your office. While McLaren uses Mercedes engines, Toto Wolff did note that McLaren owes nothing to Mercedes. Mercedes owes nothing to McLaren. Said of the accusations, quote, this is total, utter nonsense. It blows my mind. We're fighting for second in the Constructors' Championship. This is important for us. Kimi's fighting for a potential third in the race. I mean, how brainless can you be to even say something like this? And it annoys me because I'm annoyed with the race itself and how it went. I'm annoyed with the mistake at the end. I'm annoyed with the other mistakes. And then hearing such nonsense blows my mind. And added that upon hearing the accusations and who leveled them, he went out and sought Lambiase out. Said of their short interaction, quote, I said to him that Antonelli just went off. He had a bit of a moment in the previous corner and then less entry speed into the left-hander, and this can happen. So we cleared the air. He said he didn't see the situation, but why would we do this? I didn't see the situation, but yet you're going to comment on it. All right, I'm just going to leave that there. Yeah.
I better hush.
He said he didn't see the situation.
I better hush.
Why comment on it? Why would we even think about interfering in a driver's championship? You really need to check yourself and whether you are seeing ghosts. Apparently Monday, Red Bull saw the light of day and issued a statement of apology, which read in part, quote, comments made before the end of and immediately after the Qatar GP suggesting Mercedes driver Kimi Antonelli had deliberately allowed Lando Norris to overtake are clearly incorrect. Quote, replay footage shows Antonelli momentarily losing control of his car, thus allowing Norris to pass him. We sincerely regret this has led to Kimi receiving online abuse. And see, that's the other problem. You get too many people that hear the initial the initial thoughts, the initial overreaction, if you will, and then they become keyboard warriors. They jump on their computer or their phone and they do and say stupid stuff before they get the whole story.
That's about typical. That's about typical in more ways than one for a lot of people.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, and where a lot of people need to learn the phrase of just shut up.
Yeah.
They don't know what the phrase shut up means.
Yeah. Let me go back to an old phrase that I remember from a former radio partner of mine who said it is better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you're a fool than to open your mouth, or in this case, put a post up on social media and remove all doubt that you're a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Stop
it's
it.
true.
Stop it. All right, here we go. And then there's this, the soap opera of Red Bull or ex-Red Bull team boss, Christian Horner. Here's the thing. Recently, Aston Martin team owner Lawrence Stroll met with his organization. He told them flat out, despite some rumors that they might be hearing, he ain't going there, according to ESPN reports. Stroll was talking to the team the week of our Thanksgiving and told the team that F1 veteran Adrian Newey, who recently joined the team as a shareholder and managing technical partner, is going to be made the team principal, and that will be effective for the 2026 season. This move will displace current team principal Andy Cowell. Cowell will land softly. He moves into a new role as the new engine supplier to new engine supplier Honda, and will work with them on the new engines that Aston Martin will start using in 2026 and onward. So he's not really going very far. He'll still be working hand in hand with the guys over at Aston Martin. And you get Adrian Newey, who is, let's face it, he's an F1 veteran.
Mm-hmm. And
he's been around for decades. He knows what he's doing and how to do it in pretty much any role you want to put him in.
And then some. And then some.
Yeah. As for Horner, remember that he was canned by Red Bull back in July, came to a financial settlement with the organization, one that will allow him to get back into Formula One in the middle part of the 2026 season. Word has it that Horner is looking for more than just a team boss role. He actually is seeking a place where he can also buy into the organization as a minority stakeholder. So Aston Martin's off the table. What's left? Cadillac long ago said that they're good without him. They don't need him. They already have their infrastructure set. Haas F1 has said much the same. Audi, set to take over for Sauber, has said that their team infrastructure has been in place for some time now. So where does that leave us? Pretty much one team. Alpine. Renault, the parent company, has been kind of moving away from being a full works operation for some time now. Remember, they're not going to be their own engine provider after this season is done. They're going to be a customer team. So maybe they are willing to take a little bit of an investment from Christian Horner, have him come in as a partial stakeholder / owner of that team.
Maybe so.
I don't know. We'll find out. So that's Christian Horner's situation. When we come back, silly season ain't waiting when it comes to Formula One. We go back to Red Bull on this because we've been kind of wondering who's going to be next in the revolving door of Max Verstappen's teammate. And man, did this door revolve. I mean, it started spinning really, really wildly, spat one guy out and brought another guy in the whole vacuum situation. We'll talk about that and give you the whole rundown of who's going where and who into what role. That's next, right here on CRN.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. Two tires only, and back out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Yeah, welcome back in as we are talking Formula One here to begin today. For those of you that want to hear talk about the NASCAR trial, don't worry, we'll get to it. That's coming up in hour number 2. First things first, Q1 is done in qualifying for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Am I correct?
Yes, it just went, Q1 just went red. They're about to start Q2. Your bottom 5 out from 20 to 16, Colapinto, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Albon, and Hamilton.
Hamilton?
He got bumped out last minute by Gabriel Bortoleto.
Wow.
Advancing on from 15 to 1, Sonoda, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Ocon, Stroll, Lawson, Berryman, Russell, Sainz, Norris, Leclerc, Alonso, Antonelli, Verstappen, Piastri.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on it as we go throughout the course of this hour. Silly season not waiting in Formula One. Red Bull has announced their changes, and Max Verstappen's teammate in 2026 will indeed change. This we predicted. Honestly, we didn't know who was going to replace Yuki Tsunoda. That was the thing. Now we know. So already this year, Max Verstappen has had 2. It began with heralded rookie Liam Lawson, but that only ran, 5-6 races, I think? And then Red Bull exchanged him for the Racing Bulls veteran Yuki Tsunoda, right?
If that long, yeah.
Yeah, it might not have even lasted that long, and it was a move that we were critical of because we didn't think he had been given enough time to really prove himself one way or the other. Well, that move didn't pay off either because while Verstappen has seemed to have gotten his footing here late in the season, neither Lawson nor Tsunoda with much of any help, and Red Bull languishes when it comes to the Constructors' Cup standings. They're trying to battle to get back to second. To try and turn that around and get back to their championship-winning ways, they have taken Tsunoda out of that ride after this weekend's season finale. Now, first things first, Liam Lawson, he will not be moving back up. Liam Lawson, instead, will remain with Racing Bulls. This was an announcement that was made on Tuesday. In that announcement, and you'll see the picture coming up here on CRN Live on YouTube here in a moment, you will see that Liam Lawson is going to be paired with another talented Racing Bulls driver in Arvid Lindblad. Okay, now we've seen this before. We've seen where Red Bull loves to get this particular guy. Liam Lawson is a perfect example of this. They love this guy. They are enamored with this guy. They put him in a car, and they have zero patience.
Yeah, they pull the reserve driver up.
So we'll find out whether or not this is going to stick. But for right now, to begin next year, it's those 2 drivers. It's going to be Liam Lawson and Arvid Lindblad for Racing Bulls. That second Racing Bulls driver of 2025 is rookie Isaac Hajar. He has been promoted, and he will become the teammate for Max Verstappen in 2026. So Max Verstappen and Isaac Hajar. Now, considering the lack of performance by Tsunoda, who currently sits 15th in the standings with only 33 points. Again, this was something you and I were pretty much talking about. And Isaac Hajar currently sits in 10th. There's been talk for months that Hajar might actually be moving up into the Red Bull car, considering how much the organization wanted to get Lindblad into a car, but he just turned 18 in August. Despite all the hype, he's had kind of an up-and-down season in Formula 2. This year, he currently sits 6th. So, all right, so you see on CRN Live on YouTube, that's the Racing Bulls lineup. The next one up is the Red Bull lineup. We'll show you those 2. And here's the deal. When it came to Lindblad, when it was pretty much known that Red Bull was going to put him in a Formula 1 car, it was just a matter of which one. It came down to really between Hajar and Tsunoda for that second Red Bull seat. Based upon performance, again, Hajar's been very impressive. Got a podium finish in the Dutch Grand Prix, 51 points. He's 10th in the standings going into the season finale. As for Tsunoda, he doesn't have to go very far. They've decided to keep him. This is a guy who has ties to Honda, which they're going away from Honda engines. They're rebranding them as Fords, even though they're still technically the Honda design. But they decided to keep him because of his familiarity with the cars. And what they're going to do is put him in as a reserve and test driver. And should any of the 4 drivers need a replacement driver, whether it's Racing Bulls or Red Bull, Yuki Tsunoda is going to be the guy that's going to fit in or fill in.
And that's not a bad move.
No, because again, he's familiar with the cars. Has his performance been fantastic? Has he blown the place up? No. But at the same time, he's solid, if unspectacular.
Yeah.
And again, familiarity does do some really, really good things. And with that announcement, here's the other part of it. All 11 teams, it appears, have their driver lineup set for 2026.
Yep.
And that's even bigger.
Yeah. No doubt.
All right, so speaking of that 11th team, that is the group over at Cadillac. And the officials with the Cadillac F1 team have confirmed that they're going to take part in the preseason test the final weekend of January 2026. This is that closed one. No media is going to be involved in this. But either way, they're going to have a plain car. It will not be adorned with the actual look for 2026. While most other teams will have already unveiled how their 2026 cars will look either before or at that practice session, Cadillac's choosing to wait. They've said they're going to unveil their initial look for their inaugural year on the biggest stage that they could possibly find. If you're looking at CRN Live on YouTube, you're noticing that the Cadillac Formula One team logo sits on a football, launches 2/8/26. What happens on 2/8/26? It's the Super Bowl. That's about the biggest stage you can possibly find. GM's luxury brand will launch, they said, quote, in a bold new way for the team to connect with new audiences within the United States and beyond. Consider that last year's Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the winning Philadelphia Eagles was viewed by 127.7 million people in the United States alone, not counting the rest of the world. Yeah, that's a good-sized stage.
Yeah.
I mean, 127.7 million people is over a third of the population of the U.S. itself, which is about 330 million, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this marks a first. There is really no rule from Formula One or the FIA that tells the teams how to show off their cars. Technically, they don't even really have to. They could just put it out there for the practice session that's open to the media for the first time and nope, that's how the car looks. But they choose to do it and get some publicity for it, and I understand that. Over the, 10 years or so that we've been covering the series, it's gotten a lot more public. It gotten different stages as well, instead of just doing it at the team headquarters or generally at Silverstone, which is the proximity for the vast majority of these teams. They've gotten a little more inventive. For example, Red Bull used New York in previous years. This year they're going to do it at the Ford headquarters in Detroit to celebrate the switch over from the Honda to the Ford branding on the engine. But I got to say, this is probably by far the biggest stage for an unveiling ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this proves two things. Number one, it proves obviously that here in the United States, at least, the NFL is the king of sports. Number two, Cadillac F1 team is comfortable in pairing with the league's biggest showcase to show off their first-year ride, because if you think about it, the cost of the commercial time is likely going to be north of what it was last year, and last year they were charging $7.5 million for a 30-second commercial, one 30-second commercial. So this means Cadillac is putting serious money into this.
Very.
You know, not just the money that they had to pay to the FIA and Formula One to get in, and all the money that they've paid to do the infrastructure for the shop in England, the location that they have in Charlotte, and obviously their satellite headquarters that's in Detroit, and all of the personnel that are involved. And now you're going to throw out there $8.5 million for a 30-second ad to unveil what the car's going to look like.
I mean, what the heck? Load a car up and send it to Santa Clara and unveil it at the game.
Park it at the 50-yard line.
Drive it out on the field for the 50-yard line.
There you go. I like that.
Forget the halftime show.
Sure.
Here's your halftime show.
Yeah.
We're unveiling a Cadillac F1 car.
Yeah. You're not going to drive it out onto the grass, but what you could do is put it on a trailer and have it towed by a Cadillac Escalade. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do it. The one other note here when it comes to Formula One is that other American-owned team, it's weird to say that now, set to undergo a title sponsor change for the 2026 season. This weekend's season finale is also the final race for the team officially known as MoneyGram Haas F1. They've made a big deal out of saying thank you very much to MoneyGram for helping them out over, the last 3 years.
Something like that, 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I would say that over that time, that MoneyGram title sponsorship, has really solidified and kind of gotten Haas F1 on solid footing, because we're seeing a resurgence in their performance.
Mm-hmm.
And financially, they have said for the first time, really, they haven't had to rely on Gene Haas to subsidize them with checks. They were able to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because of MoneyGram.
Right.
So they say thank you to them. Next year, the partnership between Haas F1 and Toyota Gazoo Racing takes another step. Next year, the team officially becomes the TGR Haas F1 team and extends the technical collaboration between the two. First look for the new for 2026 racer, which will be internally coded VF26, is going to be shown off in the less than public manner when they take the track at that non-televised private F1 test that'll happen January 26th through the 30th. That'll be at the Catalunya circuit in Barcelona, Spain. They said they will officially show it off to the public sometime shortly after that. All right.
Here comes Toyota back into F1 fully.
And I asked that question.
You can't tell me that the path's not there.
Oh, yeah. I asked that question because here's the thing. What we know about this is that Ferrari has, of course, their own works team. They have been providing Haas F1 with the most parts that they could possibly do, including the powertrain, ever since they came in, which is a decade ago now. Is this them? Is this Haas F1 looking to kind of step out on their own and become more of their own organization and not so reliant on Ferrari?
You can't say that the eyes aren't pointed that direction.
And then there's the other question here. As you noted, Toyota back in F1. Toyota tried it for, I don't know, a handful of years back in the 20-something years ago.
Hypothetically, here's what it is hypothetically. You've got them doing the same thing that Ford is doing.
Yeah.
You technically got Honda engines still in Red Bull, like I said earlier, but it's branded as Ford powertrains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay. You got Haas with Ferrari engines, but branded with Toyota Gazoo technical lines. Okay. Ford was smart, and Ford can do it. Ford has the capability to do it. I've said it here on this platform until I'm blue in the face. Ford could have their own engine designed tomorrow.
Sure.
They could have it designed tomorrow. Toyota could have their own engine designed next week.
Oh, yeah. Turbo
Easily.
4-cylinders are not a problem for either Ford or Toyota.
No.
They both have them
Easily.
in their road-going cars.
EcoBoost.
Yeah.
All right. So that would technically have Ford would have a works team. Honda has their well, not a works team. Ford would have their own team. Ferrari,
Yeah.
Mercedes,
Which is still providing engines to McLaren, but still.
McLaren, and Alpine.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Honda would be with Aston Martin.
Yeah.
McLaren's got their own deal with Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
So Toyota comes in, they're putting their stamp on something.
Audi's got their own thing.
Audi's got their own deal.
Yeah.
So
And then Cadillac eventually will have their
Cadillac
own deal.
will have their own deal. So what in a handful of years, each respective team could be branded with their own engines, with the exception of McLaren and Alpine.
Yeah.
That's 9 of the 11.
Yeah. That's pretty big deal because we have seen where it's basically been as low as 4 engine providers?
Yeah, it was Ferrari, Mercedes, Renault,
and Honda. At
one point, it was Lotus. God rest their soul.
Oh, yeah, really.
Yeah, it's 4 to 5 has been the average.
So to be able to potentially go up as high as 9.
Yeah.
And then you wonder
sporty.
at some point in time, I mean, Gene Haas seems pretty happy where he is with the ownership role, not only in Formula One, but in NASCAR as well. But I guess at some point in time, he's got to think about his own mortality. I don't know whether his kids really care enough about racing or not, or any relatives of his really care enough about racing to take it over. So this could actually be the next step in Toyota saying, hey, when Gene Haas finally is done, we'll just take the team.
Possibly. I could see that, and Toyota being a Ferrari and Mercedes like setup.
Yeah, could be. We'll see. Time will tell. It's going to be an interesting situation to watch. I don't think any of this is imminent. I don't think Gene Haas is looking to get out of Formula One anytime too soon. But it could be just him thinking in the future and planning ahead and going, hey, pairing with Toyota I think would be a good deal. Let's find out. When we come back, we got some Formula E news as they get ready to kick off their 12th season. We are going to talk IndyCar as well. That'll be the wrap of hour 1. Then it's all trial talk.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back in. Keeping with Open Wheel, talking about Formula E. They get their season kicked off later this morning. Before that happened earlier this week, Mahindra Racing, they announced they're committing to racing in Formula E at least through 2030. That puts them as part of this upcoming fourth generation of the all-electric car. Mahindra came in as a founding team in the series back in 2013. They actually were the very first manufacturer to commit racing in the then new Formula E series. Ever since that series got rolling, Mahindra, well, they haven't really blown anybody's doors off. 5 wins, 11 pole positions, 29 podium finishes heading into this year. Over that time, they have scored some 1,000 championship points, so they are generally considered to be a point scorer, but again, not necessarily a race-winning organization. This year, they go in with Nick DeVries and Eduardo Mortara as their driving pair. They recently installed CEO and team principal Frederick Bertrand, said that he hopes that the team can build off last season's 5 podium finishes and their 4th place finish in the team championship points, which would be a nice change for them if they can actually do it. Time will tell. Again, Nick DeVries is a good racer. Eduardo Mortara, we've seen him be able to claim wins from time to time. If you're on CRN Live on YouTube right now, that's going to be the car that they will pilot this year. That's the base look of the car anyway. Or the base look of the car for the next generation, I should say. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out for Mahindra. But they're happy. Formula E is happy. They're getting more and more teams committing, more and more manufacturers like Jaguar and Nissan coming in and saying, hey, yeah, we're going to make sure that we're going to stick around for a little while. So that's good for them. And then here's the other side of things. And I say the other side because I mentioned during the race recap and the schedule that CBS Sports still has the rights here in the United States to the Formula E broadcasts. But finding it on the CBS Sports Network or CBS itself, it's almost an exercise in futility. But just for being completionist, let's say, if you can find the broadcast this year, you will probably note that they have a different on-air lineup than they've had previously. And for the very first time, a woman by the name of Nikki Shields is going to be calling the action. Shields is a motorsports veteran reporter who has more than a decade of broadcasting experience, and she becomes the lead anchor for a growing crew of announcers. I mean, if you're looking at that picture on CRN Live on YouTube, you can tell how many people are involved in that broadcast. Amongst them, Sam Bird, who's a 12-time Formula E race winner. He's going to be a race analyst alongside Albie Liu, who's a former McLaren Formula E team engineer. Other teams that might be familiar to race fans are former F1 drivers David Coulthard and Karen Shandhook. Another former Formula E driver anyway, Andre Lauderer. The only champion the W Series ever had in its 3 years, Jamie Chadwick's going to be involved in it, and pit lane reporters will include Alexa Rendell and an IndyCar broadcast member who I have had the chance to meet. Very, very nice young lady by the name of Georgia Henneberry. Saw her at Barber Motorsports Park a couple of years ago. So she's moving up in the world. That's the new lineup for Formula E and their broadcast team. I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's a pretty well-rounded lineup. We'll see whether, I mean, here's the thing. Nikki Shields is a broadcasting veteran and a motorsports veteran, but there is something different about being in that seat where you're calling the action. I have a little bit of experience in doing that alongside Grady Sapp up at Talladega doing some ARCA Menard Series races, and it was an adjustment. Yeah. Because in rapid-fire fashion, I went from calling some shots on pit road to doing turn 4 to moving up, and all of that, unfortunately, because of the passing of a very, very good gentleman, who got me in, and I appreciate that. But it was an adjustment to go and do all of that stuff. So it doesn't really matter how long you've been in the business or how long you've been doing even motorsports.
Yeah.
To start getting into the situation where you're calling the action, it's a different animal.
Yeah, because up until, thanks NASCAR for buying ARCA out, because pretty sure in 2020 we were set to go that I was going to go out in the corners.
Yeah, that's what it was looking like.
I was going to go out in the corners and do a turn and do the turn. I don't know.
Probably 4.
I think I was either going to take the end of the back stretch or go to 4.
Yeah.
But until they said, "Oh, we'll buy it, thank you,"
and then MRN took it over.
The MRN took it over, which
was funny because what I always called it before that was we were doing MRN light. We were doing an imitation of what MRN did.
Yep.
And I think we did it pretty well, just to be honest.
And then, I had to throw the rookie stripes on. Hey, you got PA.
Yeah, exactly. Knock it out, brother.
Yeah. Good luck.
Let's see here. Before we get to IndyCar, let's talk the NHRA and the IHRA. And this was an interesting bit of news that came out early in the week. With the troubles that NASCAR has, could there be room for a competing series? And that's kind of what this whole situation is about. Because remember, the lawsuit is an antitrust lawsuit. And an antitrust lawsuit means you got a monopoly on this particular area. Does NASCAR? I don't know. If you only look at the title, you might think that the new IHRA stock car series might actually be that competitor or potential competitor. But you got to dig a little bit deeper. And we did on this week's Cross Flags podcast, which is available right now on CRN Live on YouTube and on Spotify. But we'll give you an overview, okay? This is what the IHRA is planning. IHRA is planning here is more grassroots racing, simplifying the rules, making things, they hope, more affordable, and working on things that some of the competitors have claimed about when it comes to any number of other series relating to stock cars or late models, not just NASCAR. And you and I, like I said, we kind of talked about this, and you put this not on a level of NASCAR, but more like the Cars Tour?
Yeah, it's not even in the same zip code as ARCA or NASCAR or anything else. It's definitely a late model style series. Mm-hmm. That's on a comparison level, Cars Tour, Pro, and late model stock. Southern Super Series, UARA, CRA Super Series, divisions like that is what it's on a level on, but it's more of a cost prohibitive because I think they're going to run crate engine style setups with limits on what style shocks you run, because engines and shocks is by far the number one and number two things that are the most cost intensive thing for a car. Mm-hmm. And then you can limit the cost cutting measures on that right there alone by a substantial amount. So, and then with it being a substantial purse that's being put up too, you could easily probably make your money back and then some.
There you go. Yeah, I like that. By the way, I appreciate the chat here. I didn't even think about that. I didn't do a search for this, but CBS Sports Network has that. Well, CBS Sports Network obviously is Paramount. Paramount Plus will show it. So if you have Paramount Plus, I guess you'll be able to find it there as well. I didn't even think about looking there. So thank you very much. I appreciate you bringing that up because, like I said, I didn't even think about looking there. Then on top of that, and look at that purse, by the way. $2 million purse. Not insignificant when you're talking this level of racing.
No. That level, I'm interested to see how the $2 million pays back.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know how the breakdown is. Yeah. So we'll wait to see. But $2 million, not insignificant when it comes to that. Then you look at that number and go on top of that, where the IHRA CEO Darrell Cuttle announced recently they've completed the purchase of the World Drag Racing Association. The two confirmed a working alliance for the 2025 racing season. Now they've confirmed they're both under one roof. The WDRA focused mostly on supporting member tracks and the bracket racing community, something that producer John and I have a little bit of experience in doing in our younger years. This brings now, under IHRA sanctioning, 62 tracks in 25 states here in the U.S., along with Canadian provinces. Now, with the WDRA coming in and the other moves made this year in the IHRA's comeback, the IHRA now sees 117 member tracks, some directly owned by the IHRA, tracks in 5 different countries: U.S., Canada, Aruba, Australia, and New Zealand.
Aruba is...
Granted, it's a territory, but still, I'm just throwing it out there.
Question mark, but Australia, New Zealand, U.S., Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid.
On top of that, there's a tentative, and I use this term very, very carefully because the IHRA hasn't confirmed this yet, but there's a 2026 tentative IHRA schedule that started to float around for the Outlaw Nitro Series, their top fuel, funny car division. Season set to begin the weekend of March 19th through the 21st, run through the weekend of November 5 through 7, with 10 events in all planned. Interesting to note that all the tracks on the slate, not on the schedule that we've got right here on CRN Live on YouTube. That's just the locations of where those tracks are. We'll get to that here in a second. But on a different rundown that I saw, I think you provided it to me, Matt.
Yeah.
All of the tracks are being called one of 3 names: Durana Dragway, Durana Raceway, or Durana Motorsports Park. All of them. And if you remember, we talked about them buying 7 tracks earlier this year, and more than half of those got renamed under the Durana banner, which means it's under the IHRA direct control. That means they own them. So now we're talking about they will own potentially all 10 of these facilities. 3 really of particular interest to the area that we're based in here in the southeastern U.S. You got September 10th through the 12th, Durana Motorsports Park, might be better known as Montgomery Motorsports Park in the capital city of Alabama. The next event would be the weekend of October the 8th through the 10th. It would take place at Durana Dragway, better known around the South as Atlanta Dragway. And the season finale would take place at Durana Motorsports Park, formerly Memphis Motorsports Park. So we're waiting really on 2 more announcements from the IHRA. Number 1, the official schedule, whether or not this is actually right, and then apparently the next round of track buying.
If he's gotten Montgomery, which as many places as has surfaced up that he apparently has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Good.
All 3 tracks are what are considered to be quote-unquote in contract. Leads one to think that the IHRA owner and chairman Darrell Cuttle, who has been on a buying spree all year long as he rebuilds the series, may be ready to announce that. We're waiting to find that out, number 1. Number 2, it is interesting to note that he's spent a lot of money. We talked about where that money might be coming from on Crossed Flags. I will not spoil that for you. I'll let you go check that out. But let's just say he's connected to somebody that's got a lot of money.
A substantial amount.
We'll just leave it at that.
But Montgomery, yes, because it's, as the old saying goes, it tickles my fancy to know that there is finally a Nitro Series, a national Nitro Series that is embarking on crossing the state line of Alabama.
And coming into Alabama. Would that be the first time ever?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. I thought so, but
because NHRA has not. NHRA has never been to Montgomery, nor have they been to Alabama International, better known as Steel.
Mm-hmm.
They've not been there.
They haven't been up to... No,
Harvest doesn't have the facility to hold NHRA.
That's true.
Nor does the places, a couple of those around Birmingham, Lassiter Mountain. It doesn't have the facility to hold it either.
I don't know of anyone down towards Mobile.
No, there's not anything towards Mobile to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But Montgomery's got the facility to do so.
Yeah.
Steel has the facility to do so, and you spruce up
some
Steel.
Minor upgrades, yeah.
Some upgrade stuff in Steel.
And considering the upgrades that Daryl Cuttle has already taken on with all the tracks that he's already bought.
With National Trail and Milan specifically.
Yeah.
Those are really good upgrades. And for Atlanta and Memphis, basically going to be a rising phoenix out of the ashes.
Yeah.
I've not been to an event at Atlanta, but I've been to the facility and seen it.
Yeah.
Atlanta, we know Atlanta's got the facility.
Sure. Yeah, the basic infrastructure is there.
Memphis, I said this the other day, and I'll say it again. Memphis is the right person gets a hold of Memphis. Memphis is a gem laying in the dust.
Sure.
I mean, you've got the drag strip there. You've got the oval there that apparently is going to be the finale event of the late model series. Somebody is got that gym is about to be polished. Let's word it that way. Because Memphis, I went to the final ARCA race at Memphis in 2020. That was one of the better short track races I've ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Yeah.
And then combined with you have Larry Dixon in a Top Fuel 2-seater over at the drag strip doing runs during the race. And everybody's going, what on God's green earth is that? And then you see Larry Dixon blazing down the strip. But he's positioning himself to get tied in and bring it back to life with none other than Clay Milligan, because Clay Milligan's home track is Memphis.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah. And in the chat on CRN Live on YouTube, the question came out, should the NHRA be threatened by the IHRA as they grow the series? If Daryl Cuttle can keep up this momentum, yes, absolutely they should. More so than what NASCAR should be worried about, which we're going to get into next hour.
Yeah, I at the pace they're going and of how the fields have grown progressively through their 5-race slate this year, IHRA I would firmly consider a direct threat to NHRA.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. A couple of more notes here. We'll wrap up hour number 1 talking about the NHRA side of things. NHRA officials are asking for the fans' help to try to determine the top 75 moments in NHRA history. That'll be unveiled next year as the series does celebrate 75 years in action. To make your choice, you can go online, go to nhra.net /75th/top 75. There will be 100 pre-selected moments for the fans to be able to choose from. The votes will be tabulated. The full list will be revealed, as they say, early next year. I would say probably right about the time of the Gator Nationals when they kick off the season. And finally, John Force Racing might have lost one driver, but they've gained another. The team has signed Alexis DeJoria to join the team in a second funny car, or actually I should say a third funny car. Let's get back to this. All right, Fast Jack Beckman appears to be returning to the car after a retirement and then brought back by John Force after he had that wreck at 2024 at Richmond. He's been in the car all year long, and it appears he will return in 2026. Now, let's not mistake this. I said a third car for a specific reason. DeJoria is not taking over for the departed Austin Prock. She's taking a third funny car operation for John Force Racing as they expand to a 4-car team. Top Fuel ride, obviously, as well. DeJoria, the only woman running full-time in funny car competition, has set benchmarks for women in her career. Notably, the first woman to break into the 3-second range did so in 2014 at the Winter Nationals at Pomona. Has 6 event wins, 14 finals appearances in her career. Sponsorship will be her longtime partner, Bandero Premium Tequila. So again, we noted it. 4-car operation. Josh Hart's your Top Fuel driver. He takes over for Brittany Force as she steps away to start a family. Does she return? Don't know. She may decide that with her dad kind of starting to see his mortality, if you will.
Yeah.
Maybe this becomes more of the family operation instead of John Force being the man behind it all.
Right.
Courtney, Brittany, Ashley, and all of them. In funny car, confirmed DeJoria and Beckman, third driver in that Cornwell Tools ride that Austin Prock vacated. They say that ride, or the driver for that ride, will be announced at a later date. keep our eye on it for you.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very attractive car, though, since it's the 2-time defending Funny Car Division winning car. Still not really sure what the heck happened with that Croc situation. And nobody's talking. Can't wait to find out what the heck he's got planned.
I think I know.
Okay. We'll find out. Meantime, hour number 2 kicks off next. Thank you for joining us.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back. And we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2, starting a little bit late because we did go a little bit over on hour number 1. Hey, things happen. Let's take care of a couple of business parts here. First of all, qualifying for Formula One in the season finale is done. How does it look?
Yes, Q3 is done, and from 10 to 1, Sonoda, Hadjar, Ocon, Bortoleto, Alonso, Leclerc, Russell, Piastri, Norris, Verstappen.
Norris and Verstappen starting 1-2, 12 points apart from each other.
And Norris is 0.2 off of the pace from him.
But here's the thing. Again, he's got a 12-point lead. All he's got to do basically is stay on Max Verstappen's tail. If he can do that, he's guaranteed to win it.
If all he's got to do is just keep the tailpiece in sight.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's all he's got to do. So, all right. To IndyCar here, again, like I said, we got to get through all of that stuff. Then we'll talk about NASCAR. Buried the lead, I know. Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing has finalized their 2026 driver lineup. They've added F1 veteran to that lineup in Mick Schumacher. He's coming over to the U.S. to take over the number 47 Honda-powered team entry. Puts him in a team that includes Graham Rahal, and 2025 Rookie of the Year Lewis Foster. Now, again, you can only have 3 cars maximum if you are in Indycar, and Schumacher in means that all 3 cars are spoken for, and it leaves Devlin DeFrancesco looking for a ride. With the signing of Schumacher, that brings the question of how many seats left in the upcoming 2026 season. Not many. Let's just be plain. If you're an IndyCar driver hoping for a call, you might actually want to pick up the phone and start making calls yourself. Dale Coyne set to field 2 cars. 1 is spoken for. The 18 car is not, although he does continue to set deadlines. It was Thanksgiving. Turkey Day came and went without the announcement. He moved it back to December 15th, so it looks like he's got somebody in mind, but they haven't been able to come to final terms, apparently. That's a guess.
Do something.
There's Juncos Hollinger Racing, which took some time and then finally confirmed Stingray Robb will indeed return to the team for 2026. What this means is that the Juncos Hollinger Racing driver lineup is made up of Rinus VeeKay and Robb, and that means Connor Daly is looking for a ride. Continues a kind of a revolving door for drivers in that team since the 2023 debut. Since then, they've had drivers like Callum Ilott, Romain Grosjean, Agustin Canapino, Daly, Rinus VeeKay all coming in, the return of Stingray Robb in that short period of time because they began in 2023 with a single car and expanded to 2 in 2024. Yikes. Then there's Prima Racing. Their parent company's having financial troubles, but team executives say that they're working as though they are set to compete in IndyCar with 2 cars in 2026. And they're working hard to get either more partners to sign on as sponsors on the car or looking for an investor who can come in and kind of shore up the team as a whole. We'll see whether or not that works. They do want to continue on with their 2025 driver lineup of Callum Ilott and the Rookie of the Year runner-up Robert Schwartzman, which would be, for them, a pretty strong lineup, all things being equal.
Yeah, I mean, year 2, you would think they would be in better position, especially with returning drivers that's got to experience 2 rookies. Well, Schwartzman being the rookie, Ilott really wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we'll see how it goes. All right, are we ready to talk soap opera?
Well, too bad I don't have the bed music of Like Sands Through the Hourglass.
Yeah, I know. Of course, we couldn't really actually play that because we don't have the rights to put it on the on the internet feed.
Sure.
But anyway, all right. So here we go. Court case. We talked about it a little bit during the Cross Flags podcast, and as it continued from that point on, let's see. Front Row Motorsports team owner Bob Jenkins started to do testimony Wednesday afternoon. That continued into Thursday. He talked about how rushed the charter deal felt last year. Jenkins said that he was, quote, honestly very hurt, unquote, by NASCAR's take it or leave it policy, their final offer on that 112-page document that they were told to sign that day by midnight that night, or feel free not to and suffer whatever consequences, right? Jenkins' team and 2311 Racing did not sign the deal, and now the antitrust lawsuit got underway Monday in federal court in Charlotte, North Carolina. The judge wants this to be a 2-week trial.
That ain't happening.
I'm not seeing that happening.
Not happening.
It did start in very good form. They got 9 jurors sat very quickly. Civil trial, not a criminal trial. 6 on the panel, 3 alternates. So you got that. That happened quick. It happened quicker than what I thought, truth be told. And then things get underway. Jenkins, during this trial, in his testimony, noted NASCAR did not call all owners to let them know that their final offer was coming. And in fact, he says he was out to dinner with his parents and actually was out of cell signal range when the offer came down. So he didn't learn of it immediately. He found out about it after they got done with dinner, and he got back into cell phone service range, and his phone started to light up with missed calls, voicemails, and text messages about it. That's when he got in touch with some fellow Cup Series team owners. He said this, quote, there was a lot of passion, a lot of emotion, especially from Joe Gibbs. He felt like he had to sign it. Joe Gibbs felt like he had let me down by signing it, and not one single owner understood that he talked to said, quote, I was happy to sign it, not a single one. Jenkins added that he felt as though the timing was actually deliberate on the part of NASCAR. They delivered it at 6 p.m. Eastern time when they were at the Atlanta Motor Speedway and told them, you have until midnight tonight Eastern time to sign it or not. Noted he felt the timing was done specifically because, quote, no attorney on the East Coast was available at that time to read a 112-page document, unquote. When he was pressed on that particular thought, Jenkins added that NASCAR officials, quote, knew we had to blindly sign it. Some of these owners have $500, $600 million facilities, long-term sponsors. They couldn't walk away from that. He also noted that he told NASCAR Commissioner Steve Phelps upon learning of the circumstances that they finally gave him a short extension to be able to review the document, but Steve Phelps noted that it was only for review purposes and said that, quote, negotiations are concluded. We are not reopening the document. He finished up Wednesday talking it over with his 4 sons, whom he plans to turn the team over to in the future. All of them agreed that despite 13 of the 15 teams having signed it at the time they talked, it just wasn't a good deal. So they decided to side with 2311 Racing and not sign, joining in the lawsuit. He was asked about the differences between the initial deal and this renewal, and he noted that he did sign the 2016 charter agreement, said that though, yeah, he had problems with it, but he felt that it was at least a step in the right direction for NASCAR's long-term health. But the 2024 charter agreement, he claims, is, quote, virtually backward in so many ways. It was insulting. It went so far backward, NASCAR wanted to run the governance with an iron fist, like taxation without representation. Ken Burns just recently came out with a documentary on the American Revolution. Timing. NASCAR, he continued on to say, has the right to do whatever it wants. His conclusion, though, is that he wants NASCAR to be healthy and stable in the long term for all the participants and the founding France family as well. Noted, quote, this is not about bashing the France family. They've made a lot of great decisions. This charter's not one of them. 100% of the owners think that the charter system is good, but this charter agreement is not.
There's a difference between the system and the actual agreement.
There you go.
Clear.
And then it got worse. And this is where, I mean, as we've led up to this trial beginning on Monday, technically, Judge Kenneth Bell, in this case, has shown that he's become frustrated with this. Because the two sides have been, doing minor suits and countersuits and minor motions and counter motions and all that. And he's just gotten tired of it. And finally, he just got fed up. Because upon cross-examination of Jenkins, NASCAR's lawyer made a big mistake. He tried to get something into the testimony that had actually been ruled as off-limits before the trial began. And that's the fiscal health of Jenkins' other business. He's a fast food franchisee in and around North and South Carolina. He owns multiple fast food franchises. That's where he's got his money.
Taco Bell, Long John Silver's, and elsewhere.
There you go. The judge, noting that it had been ruled off limits before the trial began, stated flat out, warned NASCAR that another such attempt would be met with serious circumstances. Didn't exactly detail what those circumstances might be.
Contempt of court, mistrial, things like that.
Yep. So they'll be walking on eggshells for a while. Next up, Michael Jordan actually took the stand for about an hour or so on Friday, said in testimony, quote, someone had to step forward and challenge the entity. I sat in those meetings with longtime owners who were browbeaten for so many years trying to make change. I was the new person. I wasn't afraid. I don't know why he would be. He's a billionaire on his own. I felt I could challenge NASCAR as a whole. I felt as far as the sport, it indeed needed to be looked at from a different point of view. He also noted that he's been a fan of NASCAR since he was a kid. He grew up in North Carolina, went to high school and college in North Carolina. It's kind of hard to avoid it.
Speaking on that right there, to show how egotistical, let's word it that way, how egotistical some of these, the series lawyers are that are doing this trial stuff, wants to actually ask Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan stated that he went as a kid, he went to Talladega to some events and races as a kid. The lawyer's going to actually ask, did you know that the France family built Talladega? What?
What does that have to do with it?
What does that have to do with it? And It's Steve O'Donnell and Scott Prime. God love you.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to them. Well, we did talk about that, by the way. We talked about those two on the Cross Flag podcast.
You made fools out of yourself.
Oh, I agree.
You contradicted yourself on multiple levels that everybody with a functioning brain cell that works knows you contradicted yourself. But some of the other people that are not so familiar with a sport that are inside of the legal branch of it, let's call it that, dealing with the lawyers, the judges, anybody that's on the jury that doesn't have any familiarity with it, which in North Carolina, I don't see how you don't have familiarity with it.
You either know about NASCAR or you know about Michael Jordan, if not both.
Thank you.
But somehow they found 9 people who claimed that they didn't.
Yeah, keyword claim.
Yeah.
So you've got all that. And to sit there and know and say that you say some of the things that has been said and you're going, what? What is that? You know the difference. It's I don't understand it, but if I'm the one presiding over this, as in Kenneth Bell, some of the things that I've seen and read over that has been presented within evidence, documentation, whatever, versus hearing the verbiage used by O'Donnell and Scott Prime, this is dead in the water. This is game over.
Yeah. But
this is game over.
It's taken a while here. After Michael Jordan, he was followed by Joe Gibbs' daughter-in-law, Heather Gibbs. Heather Gibbs is a real estate agent by trade. She married into the family, obviously. Talked about the signing of the charter agreement from her point of view. Said, quote, "The document was something in business you would never sign. Like a gun to your head. If you don't sign, you have nothing. Everything was going so fast. The legacy of Coy, legacy of JD, everybody at JGR, they were very upset," she testified, noting that Joe had actually called Jim France personally, wanting to resolve the standoff, adding, quote, "Joe said, 'Jim, you can't do this.' Jim was done with the conversation. We decided we had to sign. We can't lose everything, and I did not think it was a fair deal to the teams." That's Heather.
Right there. I said this before we went on the air, and this went live today. That right there, that is not nailing the coffin shut. My opinion, that is welding the coffin shut.
Yeah, this is a woman who's used to reading legal contracts. There's a reason why I said she's a real estate agent by trade. She's very familiar with legalese in contracts.
She welded it shut.
As you noted, NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell did not come off well in cross-examination by the team's lawyer, Jeffrey Kessler, talking about a text message he sent to Ben Kennedy, Jim France's nephew. It read, quote, "Jim is now reading Heather's letter out loud and swearing every other sentence." Kessler actually pressed O'Donnell about what Jim France actually had said when reading Heather's letter. O'Donnell testified, quote, "That's what I wrote. He wasn't doing that. We were all taken aback by the letter. I think Jim was frustrated, as we all were." It's not really the answer. I mean, here's the thing. If producer John and Matt and I are all in a text message group, you might have heard my phone going off in the background because we're doing business in the background as well. But if 2 of us, and I don't care which 2 of us, happen to talk about the third one and we're frustrated over that situation, and one of the 2 people is using expletives that we can't put out on the air, why in the world would you turn around and then testify, well, I said that in the text message, but it wasn't really true? Horse pucky. I'm sorry, no. I'm just, no.
By what people have said so far. Michael Jordan, Heather Gibbs, Denny Hamlin, those 3 specifically. And we haven't even got to Richard Childress yet. Remember that. We haven't even got to RC yet.
And we haven't gotten to their situation about the SRX series, which we'll get to in a second.
You haven't gotten there. But my opinion, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's in an ownership state. Those three specifically. Pretty clear. Bob Jenkins, too.
Now, on not this most recent cross legs, but the one before it, I was solo, but I showed the text messages talking about how the NASCAR executives, including Steve O'Donnell, felt about the Superstar Racing experience, the SRX series. And they talked about that during the testimony. And O'Donnell did talk about feeling threatened by the SRX series, saying that it wasn't considered a rival when it started, and it wasn't meant to be. Ray Evernham and Tony Stewart said, we want to kind of bring this up in the old IROC tradition, but we want to use retired drivers.
And it's just, and it's not, it wasn't even remotely close.
No.
A late model chassis. Yes, there are older, outdated components of Cup cars that were on it.
Sure. But let's face it, it was Tony Stewart and Ray Evernham. They both know about Cup cars in old aspects.
And yes, these cars had, I use that term very loosely, had Gilmore engines in them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Same company that puts the Truck Series engines together.
You don't feel, I'll let you finish right there.
Okay.
Go ahead and finish.
So the first year, again, all retired NASCAR drivers until you get to the final race. And remember, it's only a 6-race season. But in that final race that was Nashville Fairgrounds that year, right?
Yep.
Bill Elliott's racing. Chase Elliott decides to come along. And the number 9 looks very similar to what he was putting on the side of the Hendrick Motorsports number 9 car, right?
That 9 was more,
again,
stylized towards his dad's number 9 versus.
But similar. Okay? Let's just put it that way. And apparently, when Chase Elliott raced in that first season finale and then other Cup Series drivers began racing in the series as well, that's when he said NASCAR executives became concerned and actually did consider at one point in time saying that they might need to go to court and might need to try and figure out, I can't remember the exact words, so this is going to be a paraphrase, but they needed to basically slam the SRX series. You're trying to slam a series that doesn't race on any of the tracks you race on, number 1. Number 2, doesn't use any of the cars you use, number 2. Number 3, races for a grand total of 6 events throughout the course of a year in a 6-week stretch.
In the middle of the week, might I add.
Started out on a Saturday night, then moved to Thursday.
Thursday Night Thunder on ESPN.
And that's the only reason all those Cup drivers decided that they could actually race, because it didn't compete with any Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night race that they possibly could run in the trucks, what used to be the Xfinity, soon to be O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, or the Cup Series.
Yeah. I mean,
this was not in any way, shape, or form meant to be a NASCAR competitor at all. It was simply meant to be a form of revival of the old IROC series by Ray Evernham and Tony Stewart. That was it.
This, and I'm going to say it for what it's worth. This goes to show you, and we are way over time.
I know.
Go ahead. I'll save it.
Yeah.
I'll save it.
Yeah, we'll do a commentary on this afterward, because there's other stuff that we got to get to, obviously, still before we get to the end of this hour. But we'll do a wrap-up of this, kind of in our own opinion. I've given much of what I thought. I'm going to let Matt take center stage when we come back. And then we'll get into other news, including the fact that Austin Cindric gave a shot at Australian supercars. That happened last weekend. We'll tell you the results of that and some other news from the world of the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network. out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
All right, you can see right there if you're on CRN Live on YouTube, you can see the web address for the particular podcast that I was referring to last segment. And again, there are two things here. Number one, why are you threatened by the SRX series? It is really, truth be told, not a competitor in any way, shape, or form to you.
Not even close.
You know, they moved to a night when there was nobody racing in NASCAR, or maybe the occasional Thursday night. I don't remember a Thursday night race in that slate for the Truck Series during the SRX run.
No.
You know, and you looked at the lineup there. There was one driver that was competing that was a full-time Cup Series driver, but he was a part-time SRX. Matt Kenseth? Is that right?
There were 3.
Okay, 3. I apologize.
Elliott,
I got the number wrong.
Kenseth, Kyle Busch.
Okay. And they all ran part-time in the SRX series.
Yes.
They didn't run the entire slate.
No.
Okay. There were other part-timers as well that were in there, including Elio Castroneves, who was still running Indy 500s
And if you want
at that time in IndyCar.
If you want to throw her in there too. At the time,
Haley Deegan. Yeah.
She was running trucks full time, but Haley Deegan dabbled in it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the interesting thing to note is that if she needed to be at a Truck Series function, she went to the Truck Series function, missed the SRX race.
Yes. Yes, she did. But you feel threatened by a late model style series. Did you feel threatened when IROC was running? You didn't hear Bill France Sr. and Bill France Jr. say none of that stuff.
And there were current Cup Series drivers at that time running the IROC series.
Yeah. If you try to say, Dale Earnhardt, we feel threatened by you running the SRX. Dale Earnhardt would look at you and laugh in your face and go, sit down.
He would have looked at Bill France and Bill France Jr. and laughed at him. And truth be told, so Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Allison and Cale Yarborough.
Darrell, Bobby, Cale, Jeff Gordon, all those people that ran it for so long. Martin, Tony
They all
Stewart.
would have laughed at them.
Okay. But he also talked about feeling threatened by the SRX series, saying it wasn't considered a rival when it started, but concern was raised when Cup Series driver at the time, Chase Elliott, raced in the series finale, and then other ones started racing as well.
So
what? So what?
Yeah.
You want to? We might need to take a look at it.
Why?
It's not okay. Are you going to have their legal department make sure it's legal? Because for when Kyle Larson or somebody goes and runs sprint cars during a Cup race weekend?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not going to do that.
No.
Okay.
What about the Cars Tour?
Anybody Cars Tour? Late models?
You worried about the IHRA Stock Car Series?
Are we going to penalize any driver or legal take a look at it when they go run the Indy 500 and try to run the double?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is about the most asinine thing I've ever heard said.
Yeah, it makes zero sense.
None.
For them to have done this, number one. Number two, the bigger part of this really does appear to kind of circle back around to the whole idea of the permanent charter, which almost all of the teams in unison said that that's what they wanted, but NASCAR said, no, we don't want that. That's really what seems to be one of the major sticking points in this.
It is. But where it all stems back to with SRX, and I read last night a former spotter of said Stuart Haas team, that I know, Joel Edmonds, all while this SRX stuff was going on. Okay, let's put the dots together here. All right. While SRX was going on, who was arguably the number one person that would call out the series on their Bravo Sierra?
Tony Stewart.
Sir Anthony Stewart. Okay.
Tony Stewart inherited that mantle when the Dale Earnhardts, the Darrell Waltrips, the Cale Yarboroughs, the Richard Pettys, the Jeff Gordons, the Jimmy Johnsons, and those guys all started to leave the sport. Tony Stewart took that mantle and up and ran with it.
And then some. All right. Through that time period while SRX was going on, and memory was triggered, there were some pretty substantial fines that got levied on SHR out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just,
Why do you think Tony backed out of it? And suddenly last year, after doing all of the stuff that they did in the final year as SHR, including doing a total refresh of the logo, which lasted for 1 year.
Of everything, yeah.
And then within months after showing that all off, goes, oh, by the way, we're selling all the charters.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Selling everything out. Okay. It's they see something as a threat because of how the popularity of how ratings and how the stands were filled. It doesn't take much to fill up a 15, 18,000 seat short track.
No.
It doesn't take much. Eldora can hold 35, 40,000.
I was about to say Nashville Fairgrounds is what, 2025?
Nashville's about 2025.
And
we were there.
We were there. We actually had the opportunity to go up, spot, and call the race, which was a thrill of a lifetime for me. I can honestly tell you that, number one. But number two, to see Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway so packed that night. And it was. There wasn't a seat in that house available for sale.
Yeah, and then when brother Joe Nelms lights it up with the pre-race prayer on CBS right off the bat. Oh boy,
ooh, those stands went crazy.
That set the whole tone. But they see somebody as a threat when it is not even close to a threat.
No,
not even meant to be a threat.
No,
not even close. But when
there's a paranoia issue there,
very paranoid. But when it's shared on social media that O'Donnell said on the stand and testified, SRX is coming back. Jenna Fryer shared that.
I'll be interested to see whether or not that actually comes to fruition.
Well, considering that GMS acquired all the assets to it, I could realistically seeing that happen.
Could be. We'll see. All right, let's get to some other news here. Last weekend, first for a NASCAR driver, they headed down under to take on the Australian Supercar Series. We've seen Australian Supercar drivers come up here and take on NASCAR. Now, Austin Cindric from Team Penske, he flew down shortly after the season-ending award ceremony took place, got used to the time change, weather differences. It's summer down there. And he got some seat time in the number 5 Tickford Racing Ford Mustang fielded in conjunction with Team Penske. Said of the race in Adelaide, quote, all in all, learning the track's going to be my biggest challenge here. It's a difficult track and a track that all the guys that I'll be competing against have tons of laps on, and I really understand that. I'll learn more on my track walk in my first practice, and I think it will be it'll work in with any of the prep work that I've got done. So I'm looking forward to getting out there. I think it's great that we have a night to sleep on it after the first practice on Thursday. Then we'll 3 races, really get through all the reps. This is a cameo appearance. He was entered as a wild card in the event. What did he think of his chances? Said, quote, I'd definitely say I never learned the limits of the car. I'd say consistently finding them without error is always the challenge. Didn't quite go as well as he hoped. He came home 23rd in his inaugural race, but didn't close the door on returning to it. We'll see.
Absolutely.
While Front Row Motorsports might be in court right now, they are continuing to do business as though things are going to be normal for them in 2026. As such, they have re-signed their anchor partner, Community Choice Financial family of brands. This is a company that oversees brands like Speedy Cash and Title Max. They will be primarily on the 38 car of Zane Smith, but they are also set to appear in the other 2 cars in the stable, at least as associate sponsors. We'll see about primary.
Yep.
Then there's Callig Racing. They announced that their number 10 Chevrolet will once again be driven by Ty Dillon. Primary sponsorship coming from Seabest for at least 8 races. Andrew Dickinson will be returning as the car's crew chief. Dillon joined the team full-time just last year. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat this. It wasn't impressive. He finished 33rd in his final standings. Best run, his initial run through that first ever in-season bracket challenge where he made it all the way to the finals. Took on against Ty Gibbs at the Brickyard 400, ended up losing the $1 million to Gibbs, who simply flat out outran him on that day. So we'll find out about that.
Yep.
I don't know what to think, truth be told, of that. I think Matt Callig could do better, but he's got a lot on his plate when you consider the Truck Series, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. I don't know what to make about this. You talked about Jenna Fryer of the Associated Press. Blockbuster report came down from her earlier this week, Wednesday specifically, and it was after we got done with the podcast, and it claimed that Chris Gabehart, longtime Joe Gibbs Racing crew chief who got bumped up to the operations competition director for 2025, has left the team effective immediately. The AP report right now is the only report on this move. Neither Gabehart nor Joe Gibbs Racing have commented yet. But think about this. If this is true, Gabehart leaves the organization where, with Denny Hamlin as his driver, he claimed 22 wins from 2019 to 2024, including back-to-back Daytona 500 race wins in 2019 and 2020, never finishing lower than 8th in the final standings. As to why he might have left the position after only 1 year, again, this is a rumor that only one source is reporting at this time. He's 44 years old.
It got confirmed by multiple.
Okay, so this is confirmed. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
The only thing I can think of, he wants to get back on the war wagon.
Fingers are pointing that he's going to Spire.
Wow, Spire's starting to pick up some good stuff here.
Fingers are pointing that way. Nothing's set in stone yet, but fingers are pointing that way that Spire is trying to get him.
Okay, this should be interesting. Let's talk a couple of more notes here. Let's wrap up the Cup Series here, then we'll take our final break. This came out late last night. Rick Ware Racing is the latest to defect from Ford. They're moving from the blue oval back to the bow tie of Chevrolet. Marks a return to the brand where they ran Chevrolets from 2017 through 2021. They would sprinkle in an occasional Ford entry, but they moved over to Ford full-time in 2022. Now back with Chevrolet, they've signed a technical alliance with Richard Childress Racing, several sources say. I would say one of them might actually be the wife of one of the crew chiefs over at Rick Ware, who's got a fairly prominent media role. I'll just leave it at that.
You mean the wife of the competition director?
Maybe. Yeah, sorry, I said crew chief, didn't I?
Yep.
I don't know what this does for Rick Ware.
I don't think it's going to do very much.
I mean, considering the fact that Richard Childress Racing was kind of stumbling through the 2025 season, something's got to change over there before they can really do anything to help out Rick Ware.
They got to do something.
And I know that they got a new crew chief for Kyle Busch, but I don't know if that's the sole answer.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Honestly. Real hard to say.
And then there's North Wilkesboro. NASCAR has decided to do an add-on to the 2026 race at North Wilkesboro. This is the track that came back from mothballs a few years ago under the leadership of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and interest from the likes of iRacing, which led to a full repave and redo of the track and the facilities and led to NASCAR bringing it back with the All-Star race. Well, this year, for the first time in, over 2 decades, track's going to get a Cup Series points race. And it's actually going to be longer than any race held at that track since 1974, because what was the Window World 400 is now the Window World 450. NASCAR added 50 laps to the count. It's the longest race there, like I said, in over 50 years at that track. North Wilkesboro Speedway Executive Director Greg Hoffman released a statement, said in it, quote, North Wilkesboro Speedway is all about the fans. Adding more laps per dollar to the Window World 450 is sure to create a better experience for everyone who enters the gates. Sunday night races are made to be a spectacle. Window World 450 is going to be an electric night at America's throwback racetrack, and the stakes will be higher than ever before, with the winner punching a ticket to the NASCAR playoffs. This will be a triple-header weekend. Craftsman Truck Series comes in. They're going to run a 250-lap race on Saturday. Friday evening, ZMAX Cars Tour comes in. They're going to run a double-header that evening, Friday, to kick off that slate. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that they're going to run 450 laps at North Wilkesboro, but it was noted, and maybe one of the reasons why North Wilkesboro fell off the schedule in the first place was the fact that this is a track that is notorious for very long green flag runs.
Not anymore. I'm not sold on adding 50 laps. I thought 400 was good.
I thought 400 was great. I don't know why they added 50 more laps to it.
Well, that just means when the fairgrounds comes back, if it's not 420 laps, I mean, Music City 420.
Yeah, there you go.
At 420 laps, that place is notorious for 420.
All right.
Run it back.
Let's see what happens. Time will tell. Let's take that final break. When we come back, the Xfinity/O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, we'll talk about a couple of moves being made for the 2026 season there. We've got some Truck Series news that we got to get to, including the aforementioned Cowlick Racing and Ram truck operation. We've got something confirmed. They have confirmed all the numbers for all 5 trucks, if not all 5 drivers. Plus, a couple of other interesting notes that we'll get to if we got time before this show comes to a wrap.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. Fuel only. Go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Yeah, run to the finish here as we talk Xfinity's soon-to-be O'Reilly Auto Parts series. You can see if you're on CRN Live on YouTube, John's already got the new logo up there. I appreciate that. All right, silly season news here. 17-year-old Brent Cruz moving up. He's going to take over the number 19 Toyota Supra for Joe Gibbs Racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series next year. Not for the entire season, however. Why, you ask? Well, let's go back to the beginning of this news tidbit. He's 17. Means he can't run 4 races due to not being old enough to drive at Daytona, Atlanta, or Talladega. Now, when it comes to making the playoffs, age restriction is actually an allowable excuse for a waiver.
He will be able to run Talladega.
He'll turn 18 by the end of the year?
He turns 18 March 30th.
Okay. All right. So we'll get that far. Cruz is a Toyota development driver, got into 10 Craftsman Truck Series races this past year, 2 top 5, 3 top 10 finishes, leading more than 100 laps in all, claiming second at the Charlotte Roval. 9 of those 10 races he ran for Tricon Garage, the 10th in a truck that he actually co-owns. He also has wins in the ARCA East, West, and Main ARCA Menard Series. So this is a talented young kid going straight up to Xfinity. Now, granted, he's in a good car, Joe Gibbs, but is he in over his head? Is that good?
No.
Is that good of a driver?
He's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
SS Greenlight Racing and Josh Balicki have come to terms on a deal to put that driver in the number 07 Chevrolet in 2026. Balicki had driven for DGM Motorsports the past 3.5 years. Announced, though, towards the end of this 2025 Xfinity Series season that he was going to leave the organization. He brings to SS Greenlight Racing almost 250 starts in all top 3 series of NASCAR, plus starts in several other series as well, but he's got no wins in NASCAR. Numerous top 10s, not only in NASCAR, but pretty much every series he's ever competed in. Sponsor crew chief not named in the announcement of Balicki joining the team. DGM to SS Greenlight Racing seems like a parallel move to me.
Backwards lateral.
Slightly backwards?
Backwards lateral.
How far back?
I'm going to say if you're going backwards lateral, drop the line about a ½ inch.
So not a serious drop, but not quite. SS isn't quite on the same level. Can Balicki help bring them up to that level?
Possibly.
I mean, I'm just going based upon his experience. That's why I'm asking.
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Cope Family Racing made an interesting announcement. They have teamed with Stanton Barrett Motorsports for the 2026 season. This actually now becomes a team called SBM with CFR. Okay. They're going to field the number 30 Chevrolet, marking a change for Cope from the number 70. It's expected that a number of drivers are going to be used to fill out the season. Those drivers and sponsors for the 30 car will be announced, the team states, at a later date. What does this do for them? Both organizations, for that matter. Solidify them in any way?
Put these letters together.
Okay.
November, Alpha, Delta, Tango. Not a darn thing.
Okay. Got it.
Throwback race, if being 30, throwback race, if you don't run the throwback scheme of that old gum out Pontiac that Derek drove.
Oh, do that.
Don't even unload the car off of the lift gate.
Do that. Come on. Let's do that. Let's see what else we got here. How about Viking Motorsports announced plans to expand to a 2-car operation? The number 96 Chevrolet joins in with driver Anthony Alfredo behind the wheel. Josh Graham, who worked with Alfredo as his crew chief earlier in his career, will come back, pair with him once again. Expect other announcements like sponsorships, both primary and associate, to come soon. Viking team owner Don Sackett says he's excited to see his team double in size in only their second full-time season. Said in a team statement, quote, expanding to a second full-time car is a major moment for our organization. Anthony brings experience, professionalism, and a tremendous work ethic that aligns perfectly with where Viking Motorsports is heading. Reuniting him with Josh gives us a strong foundation for the new team. Their chemistry, trust, and history together will help accelerate our growth and elevate our entire program. Alfredo is a good driver. What does this do for Viking? Because I don't think it does much for Alfredo other than give him a full-time ride.
I'm going to have to put a question mark right there.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what it does for either one of them.
All right.
Honestly.
All right. I mean, again, this gives Alfredo a full-time ride. That's what it does. It puts him in a position as a mentor to Parker Retzlaff, who's going to be his teammate.
Yeah. It's tough to say.
I mean,
real tough.
One might think that he could give Vikings some tips and say, hey, listen, I think this is where you're kind of missing something.
Possibly, yeah.
All right.
I mean, being the small team that they are, it could help from that aspect of it.
And as a second note about Fast Pasta, congratulations out to he and his wife. They announced this week that he and his wife, Emily, have welcomed their first child, November 25th. Her name, Everly Grace Alfredo. I like that name, actually.
Good name.
Pretty cool. Alfredo posted on social media, quote, this is the greatest blessing from God. Thank you, Jesus, for a healthy mother and child. So much to be thankful for. Happy very, very much for them. Getting more details on the plans for Rajah Caruth as he prepares to move up to the O'Reilly Auto Parts next season. Caruth is set to run a split, but full season. Part of that slate behind the wheel of the Junior Motorsports number 88 Chevrolet, but as noted, that's only part of the year. The missing 10 races are going to be filled with Jordan Anderson Racing and the number 32 Chevrolet, reuniting him with the team that he actually made 2 starts for in the season just ended. 32 car is going to be a star car for Jordan Anderson Racing, full slate of drivers to be announced at a later date. The combination of the 2 part-time rides will give Caruth a full season, allow him to compete, I think, for the Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
In the series, and a potential playoff spot and maybe a championship.
Yep, it will. It's a 23-10 split.
Okay.
10 and 32, 23 and 88.
And we know the 88's a stout car, and let's not underestimate what Jordan Anderson puts out there. For a team that is relatively small, they punch above their weight.
They do. I mean, it's from the Xfinity side of it, they have more of a true alliance with a team being their alliance being with RCR on the Xfinity side. Mm-hmm. Because on any given week, any one of those 5 cars, pending on who's sitting in the 32 car.
Sure.
Any one of those 5 cars could be in very close proximity to each other. So they have one of the more true alliances that exist in Xfinity.
Okay. And then sad news that broke out last night. The passing of Michael Annett. Michael Annett, born June 23rd, 1986. Yeah, I said that right, 1986, in Des Moines, Iowa. He really didn't get rolling in racing until graduating high school, started at Hawkeye Down Speedway in Iowa, moved up into ASA competition before over to the ARCA Menard Series. Claimed 2 wins, the first of which came at Talladega in October of 2007. In 2008, he moved up to the Truck Series for several events, but late in the year signed on with Germain Racing to compete in what was then the Nationwide Series. Competed for Rookie of the Year in 2009 in the number 15 with sponsorship from Pilot Travel Centers. Claimed 4 top 10s, 10th in the final standings. Lost out on rookie honors, though, to Justin Allgaier. Ran nationwide for 2 more seasons. Joined Richard Petty Motorsports for the 2012 season. Ended up missing 8 races due to injury suffered in a crash in the season opener at Daytona. Ran a little bit of Cup over the next couple of years as well. Finally dropped back down and joined Junior Motorsports for the 2017 season. It was there that he had most of his success, but in the end, he would only claim 1 win in the series. That was at Daytona. Did rack up 95 top 10 finishes. His father, Harold, was the CEO of TMC Transportation, a flatbed trucking company out of Des Moines, Iowa. They sponsored many of Michael's efforts, including in NASCAR. He started 436 races across all top 3 series with the 1 win and 97 total top finishes. The news of his passing came down late last night as we air live due to causes that were not immediately revealed. Wonder what we're going to find out about that. We'll keep you updated.
That honestly has me a little bit worrisome.
It does me too, because Michael Annett was only 39 years old.
Yeah.
And to think that that might have been by natural causes is a major concern. Again, we don't know what he's been doing since he got out of that car.
I say this in every clearest way that I can say it. I genuinely hope that it's not a situation to where it was either A, some type of freak accident, B, really hope that it's nothing dealing with anything that was, I'm going to call it funny business. That would be anything drug related.
Yeah.
Really hope that it's not that. Or C, I really hope that it was nothing dealing with a scenario of how John West Townley lost his life.
Yeah.
I really hope it's none of those 3.
Time will tell.
But I fear it's something.
I hate to admit it, but I think so too. I mean, 39 years old. Wow.
Yep.
To the Truck Series, where Nice Motorsports continues to fill out their 2026 Craftsman Truck Series driver lineup. We previously talked about the fact that the number 42 truck is going to be a star truck. They've got a couple of new drivers there. First one to sign was Connor Jones. He will come in, split the ride with Tyler Reif. He was announced as the truck's anchor driver the week of Thanksgiving. We talked about that on the podcast that week. The Fredericksburg, Virginia native in Connor Jones came up through the late model ranks, has run in the Cars Tour and the World Series of Asphalt stock car racing, has run some ARCA and Whelen Modified Tour events as well, but in all, 27 starts under his belt in the Craftsman Truck Series. His best finish came at Charlotte Motor Speedway in 2024 in 11th place. It is expected that at least one more driver was going to be announced for the 42 truck, if not more. Well, how about one of those being Parker Eatman, another late model driver over the last few years. This kid comes out of Wilson, North Carolina, has run in the Cars Tour during the 2025 season, also claims second in the Virginia late model Triple Crown. Eatman joins a growing roster of drivers. So Tyler Reif, Connor Jones, now Parker Eatman. More they say will be announced soon, maybe even as the 2026 season rolls along. Which races and who his sponsor or sponsors will be announced in the near future. They're grabbing a whole bunch of guys. This is a great spot. This news came out just last night as well. Tricon Garage found themselves a new driver, Caden Honeycutt.
Worst kept secret in the garage.
Yeah, last year he drove for 3 different organizations, made the playoffs, advanced to the Final Four, finished 3rd overall, 4 top 5, 14 top 10 finishes. Tricon assigned them to drive the number 11 truck. That pairs him with crew chief Scott Zipadelli. Watch out for this truck.
And then some.
Just going to say that flat out.
And then some.
Calic Racing has confirmed 2 things. Number 1, that one of their trucks is indeed going to be a star truck. We knew that. They're going to use a rotating roster of drivers throughout the Return of the Ram brand's first season, at least. 3 of the 5 trucks are spoken for. You got Brendan Butterbean Queen in the first, then Justin Haley and Daniel Dye were announced on the same day a couple of weeks ago. Rumors had been running around that at least one of the 5 was going to be a star truck. Rumors being what they are, attached a whole lot of different names to it, like Casey Kane and even Tony Stewart for a run, maybe a couple. Cowlick did state this week that indeed one would be a star truck, but they stopped short of saying who was going to be in the truck. The release from the release this week from the team only said this: drivers from across the motorsports world are invited to pilot the number 25 Ram 1500 truck for Cowlick Racing during the 2026 season. All of that's part of what we announced not that long ago, the free agent program that they were talking about. They noted that the plans are right now to hold the name of the driver back until the Monday before a specific weekend's race, meaning we're going to have to wait until February to find out who's going to drive at Daytona, much less any other race in the year. So that truck's going to be the 25. What's the number that's going to be on the sides of the roofs of the other 4? Well, the team loves the number 10. The number 10 truck will be driven by Daniel Dye. Brendan Butterbean Queen will get into a number 12. Another Heritage Cowlick number has been 16. Justin Haley will get the 16 truck. We talked about the free agent program truck is the 25. The 5th and final truck will sport the number 14. So 10, 12, 14, and 16. It's got a symmetry to it.
In 25.
Yeah.
Way in left field.
One more note here, and I'll save the rest of the stuff for later on because it's stuff that can wait. But this weekend, the annual premier late model race on the asphalt known as the Snowball Derby is taking place at Pensacola, Florida's Five Flag Speedway. NASCAR once again well represented. The likes of two-time Cup champion Kyle Busch returns to the race. He's got 2 wins in the event in 2009 and 17. Another former winner of the Derby is Cup driver Eric Jones. He won the Derby twice as well, back-to-back, 2012 and 2013. Other drivers in the Cup or with Cup experience: Noah Gragson, Derek Kraus, David Gilliland, Ryan Preece. Xfinity or Craftsman Truck Series experience include drivers like Dawson Sutton, Ty Majeski, Connor Jones, Johnny Sauter, Bailey Curry, and Jake Garcia, not to mention the defending race winner Caden Honeycutt. Snowball Derby is tomorrow, Sunday. Can be seen on flowracing.com. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back with Cross Flags in the middle of the week and another big show next weekend. Join us then, won't you?
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.